Deep dive into 12 U.S.C. Section 411, Issuance and Redemption of Federal Reserve Notes. 12 U.S.C. Section 411 governs the issuance, nature, and redemption of Federal Reserve Notes, which form the foundation of the United States paper currency system. Below is a more detailed analysis of the key provisions. 1. Issuance of Federal Reserve Notes. Discretion of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. Federal Reserve Notes are issued under the authority of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. These notes are not directly issued by the U.S. Treasury, but rather facilitated through Federal Reserve Banks as advances against eligible collateral, such as U.S. government securities. The designated agents in this process are typically the Federal Reserve Banks that distribute these notes to other banks and institutions. Mechanism. Backed by assets. Each Federal Reserve note issued is backed by assets held by the Federal Reserve Banks, ensuring that the issuance is tied to tangible economic value. Role of collateral. The Federal Reserve Banks are required to deposit collateral, such as government securities, with the U.S. Treasury to back the issuance of the notes. This collateral ensures the stability and security of the currency in circulation. Purpose. Federal Reserve notes are issued to provide liquidity to the banking system and facilitate advances to member banks, ensuring a steady flow of money in the economy. These notes represent the primary form of U.S. paper currency, comprising the bulk of the physical money supply in circulation. 2. Nature of obligation. Legal obligation. Federal Reserve notes are designated as legal obligations of the United States, meaning the U.S. government guarantees their value. This obligation makes the notes universally acceptable as a medium of exchange within the U.S. 4. Taxes, payments of federal, state, and local taxes. Customs, payment of duties and tariffs on imported goods. Public dues, other government-related payments. Universal acceptance. National and member banks. All national banks, member banks of the Federal Reserve System, and Federal Reserve Banks are required to accept Federal Reserve notes. Legal tender. Under 31 U.S.C. Section 5103, Federal Reserve notes are considered legal tender for all debts, public and private. This legal recognition ensures their acceptance as a medium of exchange in all transactions. 3. Redemption of Federal Reserve notes. Right of redemption. Federal Reserve notes are redeemable in lawful money upon demand at the U.S. Treasury, any Federal Reserve Bank. Definition of lawful money. Historically, lawful money referred to gold or silver coins or certificates backed by precious metals. However, since the U.S. abandoned the gold standard in 1971, lawful money now refers to other forms of legal tender, including coins issued by the U.S. Mint, newer Federal Reserve notes. Practical implications today. Although the statute retains the language of redemption in practice, Federal Reserve notes are no longer convertible into gold or silver. Redemption today involves the exchange of one form of legal tender, e.g., older, damaged notes, for another, e.g., newly issued notes or coins. Key historical context. The gold standard and its abandonment. Before 1933, Federal Reserve notes were redeemable for gold. In 1933, during the Great Depression, the U.S. abandoned the gold standard for domestic transactions, and the redemption of notes for gold was suspended. In 1971, the U.S. ended the international convertibility of dollars to gold, effectively eliminating the gold standard globally. Modern monetary system. Federal Reserve notes are now backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government and the assets held by the Federal Reserve System. This fiat currency system relies on economic trust and the stability of the U.S. government, rather than physical commodity backing. 4. Practical understanding of the redemption process today. Damaged or mutilated notes. Individuals and institutions can exchange old, damaged, or mutilated Federal Reserve notes at the U.S. Treasury or any Federal Reserve Bank for new notes of equal value. Accounting for collateral. Federal Reserve Banks maintain an adequate reserve of collateral to back the notes in circulation. This ensures the stability and trustworthiness of the currency system. Impact on financial systems. The Federal Reserve's issuance and redemption of notes play a vital role in maintaining liquidity and economic stability, supporting a seamless flow of money throughout the economy. 5. Broader implications. Economic trust. The value of Federal Reserve notes relies on trust in the U.S. government's financial system, and the Federal Reserve's ability to manage monetary policy effectively. International acceptance. As the U.S. dollar is a global reserve currency, Federal Reserve notes are widely accepted and recognized worldwide. Continuity of value. While no longer backed by gold, the system ensures that Federal Reserve notes retain value through a combination of legal frameworks, collateral requirements, and public trust. Conclusion. 12 U.S.C. Section 411 establishes Federal Reserve notes as the backbone of the U.S. monetary system. These notes are issued and backed by collateral held by the Federal Reserve banks, guaranteed as obligations of the U.S. government, and redeemable in lawful money. Although the concept of redemption has evolved since the abandonment of the gold standard, the framework ensures the stability and trustworthiness of the U.S. currency system. This statute reflects the transition from commodity-backed currency to a fiat-based system, while retaining essential protections for public confidence and economic stability.